If you know me, you know that I have some very negative views when it comes to dating or pursuing an Asian girl. But I've never actually sat down and discussed this issue with an Asian girl, so it's about time I do just that. Today's Angel Dodger discusses whether or not Asian girls have a dating preference, but this time from the perspective of an Asian girl. Does the preference exist, or is it all just in my head?
At long last, I've ascended.
Would you say that you have a dating preference?
I feel like just because, like I said, I grew up in an Asian area, that most of my boyfriends were Asian, but I have dated non-Asians.
But so you'd be open to that, it's just a matter of what you've been.
I'm super open. I think to me, it's whoever I meet. I really look at a person rather than the color they are. So, I don't know, as long as someone's compatible with you and they fit your standards for who you want in a significant other, I think I'm open game.
For me, when it comes to dating Asian girls, there seems to be somewhat of a barrier in place. If you're Black or Hispanic, in terms of going out or trying to, court or get an Asian girl, and I feel like there's a racial tension there. Would you agree with that, or do you think that that's not there, or?
I think it comes down to what area you're in, because depending on whether you're in California or the Midwest or New York or wherever, it could be different. So I can speak from my personal experience because I grew up in an area that is predominantly Asian and Hispanic. That's a strange situation. So I see Asians and Hispanic date because of that situation, just because we're in the same area. It really depends on the family that you come from. For example, in my family, my cousin who's Chinese, her husband is Mexican, and so my nephew is half Chinese and half Mexican. So I see that Asian Hispanic mix very closely. It's in my family, it just depends on the area that you grow up in, because if you're an Asian and you grow up in a Hispanic area, obviously you're gonna end up dating somebody because you find somebody that you like, and it's not because of a racial preference or not, it's just because of proximity. In terms of in general, if you want me to speak stereotypically, but I can't say that it's true or not. I can see how Asians don't usually date Hispanics or Blacks, but I would see it as almost as, well, do you think white people don't date Hispanic and Black as well? Or do you think that's okay? I
think that there are certain races that all different races have different racial preferences. And for example, would I see an Indian person date a Black guy? Or an Indian girl date a Black guy, or an Indian guy date a Black girl? I think that would be extremely rare. But because of my preference, I only see the Asian side.
But I think if you can generalize, it comes down to culture. I think a lot of Asian Americans naturally want to date Asian Americans just because there's a comfort, right, in dating someone who has a similar culture as you, similar background or something like that. I don't know, it's probably just because I'm in LA and we're so diverse and open here, but I'm sure that plenty of other places there's a bigger divide.
When it comes to race, I've noticed that Asian girls have been less friendly towards me than girls of other races. Or I might have an Asian girl that's interested in me, but they'll play more games than somebody who's Hispanic or who's white or who's Black. I don't see, there seems to be different, even when somebody's interested who is Asian, there seems to be extra layers that you have to go through. For me.
I'm going to say yes, and I'll tell you why, and it's not just because of you, it's just because in the culture, I feel like Asian girls are less open than, for example, a white girl or something. I don't like to define by race, but I'm saying I can see that because it's just the culture of growing up Asian. You're not as open. You're if you're at a bar or something, if you're Asian and you're with friends, you want to stay in that friend group. You're not. I'm just gonna say Asians are less likely to be the kind that talk to strangers at a bar, and they're just culturally, they just like, they stay with themselves.
Yeah.
And that's just a cultural thing. And if you try to talk to them, there are those extra layers, because I've seen girls who are so open and will talk to any strangers and will party with any strangers. But Asian girls, you have to kind of like try a little bit harder, or you have to be genuine and you have to not scare them off. There are extra layers, and that's just because of a cultural thing. It's not because of your race. You know what I mean? You could be anybody, but if you're trying to break into somebody's social circle who's Asian, there's going to be extra layers there.
Yeah.
I'm Angel Dodger, and I will see you next time. If you like this episode, check out my most recent episode on the left, which discusses why the quality of rap has diminished. If you want more videos on this subject, check out my video in the middle, which is a rant that I did on this particular subject, or check out part 2 of this episode on the right, which discusses why I believe yellow fever is a derogatory term. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.